Hello and welcome to Golden Years Wellness. Today we are going to talk about something that is a silent concern for millions of people over the age of 50. It's something we don't often see or feel until it's too late. We're talking about our bones. We're specifically focusing on the nutrition plan to prevent osteoporosis after 50. When you hear the term osteoporosis, what comes to mind? For many, it's a frightening image: brittle bones, a stooped posture, the fear of a fall, or a life-changing hip fracture. It's often called the silent disease because you can't feel your bones getting weaker. For decades, many of us believed that bone loss was simply an inevitable part of getting older. We were told to drink our milk as kids, and then as we aged, we just hoped for the best. But the science is now overwhelmingly clear. It is not inevitable. And it is never, ever too late to take action. Your diet, what you put on your plate every single day, is your single most powerful tool in the fight for a strong, resilient skeleton. In this video, we are not just going to list good foods. We are going to build a comprehensive plan. We will dismantle the myths, understand the why behind the nutrients, and create a blueprint that you can start using today, tomorrow, and for every day after. This is a 25-minute deep dive into protecting your future mobility. So please, get comfortable, and let's build stronger bones together. First, let's understand the enemy. What is osteoporosis? Think of your bones as a living bank account. Throughout your youth, you make deposits of bone mineral, building up to your peak bone mass, usually around age 30. After that, the process slowly begins to reverse. We start to make more withdrawals than deposits. Osteoporosis occurs when the withdrawals happen too fast, or when the deposits were too low to begin with. The bones become porous, lighter, and weaker. They lose their density. This makes them incredibly vulnerable to fractures from a minor slip, or even just a hard sneeze. Why after 50? For women, the sharp drop in estrogen during menopause accelerates this bone loss dramatically. For men, the process is slower, as the decline in testosterone is more gradual, but the risk becomes very real as they enter their 60s and 70s. So, our nutrition plan has one clear goal: to slow down the withdrawals and, where possible, to keep making small, steady deposits. To do this, we need to talk about the big three of bone health. These are the non-negotiable superstars. They are calcium, vitamin D, and vitamin K2. Let's start with the one everyone knows: calcium. Calcium is the main building block of your bones. It's the bricks in your bone structure. 99% of your body's calcium is stored in your bones and teeth. The recommendation for adults over 50 is about 1,200 milligrams per day. Now, what does that actually look like? The common advice is, just drink milk. And yes, dairy is an excellent source. 1 cup of milk or a good serving of plain yogurt can provide about 300 milligrams. Cheese is also a good source. If you tolerate dairy, it's an easy way to get a big portion of your daily needs. But what if you don't drink milk? Or what if you want more diversity? This is where so many people miss out. Some of the best non-dairy calcium sources are dark, leafy greens. Think of kale, collard greens, and broccoli. A cup of cooked kale has over 170 milligrams. A quick note on spinach. While it's healthy, it contains oxalates, which can bind to calcium and make it less available to your body. So, spinach should not be your primary source for calcium. Focus on kale and broccoli. Another fantastic source is canned fish with the bones. A can of sardines or canned salmon, where you can mash the soft, edible bones right in, is a calcium powerhouse, giving you over 300 milligrams in a single serving. Fortified foods are also your friend. Many orange juices, cereals, and plant-based milks, like almond or soy milk, are now fortified with calcium. Just check the label. And finally, almonds and tofu. A handful of almonds is a great snack, and firm tofu prepared with calcium sulfate is a fantastic plant-based source. The key takeaway for calcium is diversity. Don't rely on one source. Spread your intake throughout the day. A yogurt at breakfast, a kale salad at lunch, and a piece of fish for dinner, and you're well on your way. Now we move to the second, and arguably most important, member of the big three, vitamin D. If calcium is the bricks, vitamin D is the builder. It's the hormone that tells your intestines to absorb the calcium from the food you just ate. You can eat 100-200 milligrams of calcium every single day, but without enough vitamin D, most of it will pass right through your body, unused. This is the single biggest mistake people make in their bone health plan. They focus on calcium, but forget the key that unlocks it. So, how do we get vitamin D? The best source is free: the sun. Our skin synthesizes vitamin D when exposed to sunlight. But for those over 50, there's a catch. Our skin becomes less efficient at making vitamin D as we age. Plus, if you live in a northern climate, wear sunscreen, which you should, or spend most of your time indoors, you are almost certainly not getting enough. The second source is food. But honestly, very few foods are naturally rich in it. The best ones are fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and tuna. Egg yolks and beef liver have small amounts. This is why foods like milk and cereal are fortified with it. For this reason, vitamin D is the one nutrient where supplementation is almost universally recommended for older adults. The general recommendation is 800 to 1,000 international units, IU, per day, but many experts now suggest more. The only way to know for sure is to get a simple blood test from your doctor to check your levels. This is a crucial, non-negotiable step. Ask your doctor about a vitamin D supplement. It is fundamental to your bone plan. And now, the third member of the big three, the one you might not know about, vitamin K2. If calcium is the bricks and vitamin D is the builder, think of vitamin K2 as the traffic cop. This vitamin has a critical job. It activates proteins that tell the calcium where to go. It directs calcium into your bones and teeth, where it belongs. Even more importantly, vitamin K2 helps prevent calcium from being deposited in places it doesn't belong, like your arteries and soft tissues. This is a double win. It's good for your bones and good for your heart. Where do we get vitamin K2? This one is trickier. It's not the same as vitamin K1, which is found in leafy greens and helps with blood clotting. K2 is made by bacteria through fermentation. The number one richest source is a traditional Japanese food called natto, which is fermented soybeans. It has an acquired taste. For the rest of us, we can find good amounts in fermented foods like real sauerkraut and certain types of aged cheese, like Gouda and Brie. It's also found in grass-fed butter, egg yolks, and the dark meat of chicken. Because it can be hard to get enough K2 from a modern diet, it's often sold in supplements, frequently combined with vitamin D. D3 plus K2 is a very common and effective pairing. So, that's the big three. Calcium for the bricks, D3 for the builder, and K2 for the traffic cop. You need all three working in harmony. But the story doesn't end there. To build a truly strong house, you also need a support crew. These are other nutrients that play vital roles. First up in the support crew, magnesium. Magnesium is the quiet partner to calcium. It helps regulate calcium and vitamin D levels. It's involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in your body, including converting vitamin D into its active form. Many people, especially older adults, are deficient in magnesium. The problem is, if your magnesium is low, your body can't properly use the calcium you're eating. Where do we find it? Think nuts and seeds. Almonds, cashews, and pumpkin seeds are magnesium powerhouses. Avocados, dark chocolate, yes, dark chocolate. Bananas and leafy greens are also excellent sources. Getting enough magnesium is like making sure the work site for your bones is running smoothly. Next in the support crew, protein. For a long time, there was a myth that high-protein diets were bad for bones. This has been completely debunked. The opposite is true. Your bone is not just a hard mineral. About 50% of your bone's volume is actually a protein matrix. Think of it as the scaffolding, or the flexible rebar, that the calcium minerals hold onto. Without a strong protein scaffolding, your bones become brittle, even if they are dense with minerals. The problem? Many seniors do not eat enough protein. This contributes to muscle loss, sarcopenia, and bone loss. Weak muscles lead to more falls, and weak bones lead to more fractures. It's a dangerous combination. Your goal should be to include a good source of protein with every single meal. This doesn't mean eating huge steaks. Think lean chicken, fish, eggs, and especially Greek yogurt, which is also packed with calcium. Plant-based sources like lentils, beans, and tofu are also fantastic. Protein is the essential framework for your bone's strength. And let's not forget two final helpers: vitamin C and zinc. Vitamin C is not just for your immune system. Your body absolutely requires it to make collagen, and collagen is the protein that makes up that bone scaffolding we just talked about. No vitamin C, no collagen, no bone matrix. It's that simple. Luckily, it's easy to get. Citrus fruits, strawberries, bell peppers, broccoli, and kiwi are all loaded with it. Zinc is a trace mineral that acts as a helper for the enzymes and cells that build bone. You can find it in meat, shellfish, lentils, and pumpkin seeds. Okay, we've built our team. We have the big three: calcium D3, 2, and the support crew: magnesium, protein, vitamin C, zinc. Now, we must talk about the bone robbers. These are the things in your diet that actively steal minerals from your bones. Bone robber number 1: excessive sodium, or salt. This is perhaps the biggest and most sneaky villain. When you eat a lot of salt, your kidneys work to flush it out of your body. And as the sodium leaves, it takes calcium with it. Think of it like this. Eating a high-salt meal is like opening a drain and letting your body's calcium leak out. Where is this salt hiding? It's not just the salt shaker on your table. It's in processed foods, canned soups, frozen dinners, cured meats, like ham and bacon, and fast food. You must become a label reader. Look for low-sodium options and focus on cooking with fresh ingredients, using herbs and spices for flavor instead of salt. Bone robber. Number 2, excessive caffeine. I know this one is tough, but a high intake of caffeine, more than 3 or 4 cups of coffee per day, can slightly interfere with your body's ability to absorb calcium. This does not mean you have to give up your morning coffee. The key is moderation. If you're drinking 5, 6, 7 cups of coffee or diet soda all day, you are actively working against your bone health. Stick to 1 or 2 cups and make sure you are getting plenty of calcium to offset any minor losses. Bone robber. Number 3, sugary sodas, especially colas. This is a double whammy. First, they are just empty calories with no nutritional value, but colas in particular contain phosphoric acid. Some studies suggest that a high intake of phosphoric acid, when not balanced by calcium, can lead to calcium being leached from the bones to balance the blood's pH. The simplest advice? Ditch the soda, grab a glass of water or a calcium-fortified orange juice instead, and finally, heavy alcohol consumption. More than 1 drink a day for women or 2 for men is toxic to bone-building cells and interferes with your body's ability to absorb calcium and vitamin D. Again, moderation is the absolute key, so let's put it all together. What does a perfect bone health day look like? Let's create a simple plan. Breakfast. Start your day with protein and calcium. A bowl of plain Greek yogurt with a handful of berries, for vitamin C, and a sprinkle of almonds, for magnesium. Or if you prefer savory, 2 scrambled eggs, protein, Vit D, K2, with a side of sautéed kale, calcium. Lunch. A large salad. But not just lettuce. Use dark greens like kale or spinach. Add a protein source, like a can of salmon, with the bones. And or some grilled chicken, protein. Add chickpeas, magnesium, and bell peppers, vitamin C. Use a simple olive oil and lemon dressing, afternoon. Snack. A handful of pumpkin seeds, zinc, magnesium, and an orange, vitamin C. Or a piece of aged cheese, calcium, K2. Dinner, a balanced plate. A piece of lean meat, chicken or fish, protein. A serving of quinoa or brown rice. And a large portion of steamed broccoli, calcium, vitamin C. When you look at this day, what do you see? It's not a diet. It's just real whole food. It's colorful, diverse, and delicious. Every single meal has a purpose: to supply your bones with the bricks, the builders, the traffic cops, and the support crew they need to stay strong. To conclude, I want you to leave this video with a feeling of empowerment, not fear. Your bone health is not sealed in fate. It is something you have active daily control over. You don't need expensive, exotic foods. You need a plan. That plan is: 1. Feed your bones with the Big 3, diverse calcium sources, adequate vitamin D, likely with a supplement, and K2-rich foods. Back them up with the support crew, magnesium, protein, vitamin C, and zinc at every meal. And finally, protect your bones by firing the bone robbers. Cut back on excess salt, caffeine, soda, and alcohol. Your skeleton is the framework that allows you to live an active, independent life. It lets you play with your grandchildren, go for a walk in the park, and live with vitality. Protecting it is one of the greatest gifts you can give to your future self. Thank you so much for joining us today at Golden Years Wellness. If you found this information valuable, please consider subscribing and sharing this video with a friend or loved one who needs to hear it. What is your favorite bone-healthy food? Let us know in the comments below. We'll see you in the next video. Be well and stay strong.